Well, we have LeBron's ex-teammate calling him out again, and not only. So let me tell you what this video is about. Everyone is talking about LeBron James, and every one of his fans can't stand it and gets mad at the media and even me. Look at the comments. The reason is simple. The longer he plays, now the less positive stories come out about him, and the more negative stories come out about him. This is also not just a coincidence because it all has to do with some foolish and contradicting comments that he's making. On one side, when he was on the Pat McAfee show a few months ago, he said something like this. But first, welcome. My name is Paul, and this is the Basketball Show, where I talk today's NBA, current events, news, players, and more. All completely unbiased, even though some people disagree, because any opposing opinion to weak people is always hating. Truth is truth, and I try to stand by that. Now here is the comment from Pat McAfee.
At that moment, my 7 years in Cleveland, I had some good years, obviously some great years. One, was able to take the team to the NBA Finals. I was 22 years old. I had a moment in Detroit where I went insane, 25 straight, 29 out of 30, and took a team that you look back at our roster, you're like, what the hell? Oh, yeah. How was that even possible?
Now this comment reads clear as day. LeBron is saying that his team and teammates in Cleveland were trash. And everyone was in awe of how he himself was able to get that team to the NBA Finals. In that same interview, he was talking about respecting players and teammates as well. Yet he has no issue whatsoever throwing those teammates under the bus in the same interview. Sounds like that finals appearance was all him, doesn't it? He and every one of his fans will never take time and research that Cavs team was mid of the pack in offensive rating and fourth overall in defensive rating in the NBA. They were a great defensive team. That's not thanks to LeBron James. So he will take credit, as you can see. That's no issue. Taking credit is good. Bragging about yourself is in LeBron's DNA, but keep watching. This really proves that LeBron James is a narcissist and a hypocrite. He's the one to congratulate when his team wins and is achieving success, but he's never to blame when his team loses and he's out in the first round. These are the comments LeBron made recently while talking with Steve Nash about the Lakers' failure, and that it's not on him or Luka because there are 8 or 10 other players on the team. Funny how everyone's to blame when you lose, but you want all the credit when you win. Here are those comments with Steve Nash recently, and then I will show you his ex-teammate calling him out on the BS that he is spreading, and another analyst talking about it as well. Check it out.
How does kind of these media narratives enter your frame of mind at this time of year? Like, for example, because it's the Lakers, because it's you and Luka, it's it's all about how did the Lakers lose this series? Really, what happened here is Minnesota's a hell of a team and they won the series. How do you deal with some of that when you try to process all this?
For me, I've definitely learned over the years that teams win championships. Mm-hmm. And, it's never, always. Teams always win championships. And yes, individuals get a lot of the accolades and the praise, but a collective group, wins championships. Now, you have your big guys that make big plays at the end of games, throughout the game, or whatever the case may be. But ultimately, teams win championships. And I understand that. And it's never just about me and Luka. It was never just about, Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle. It was always Minnesota versus the Lakers. And I understand that. And I am at a point in my career now where I don't lose sleep over that. Fuck, how did me and Luka lose? No. Well, yeah. There's 8 other guys on the floor.
Yeah. So here, clear as day, you can see LeBron James not taking any accountability or responsibility for the failure and loss. This time, everyone else is responsible. Now, LeBron also said he will not lose any sleep over losing to Minnesota, and we all know what he said a few years ago.
I'm not a guy that you should ask that because I don't feel a way about anybody that don't want to strive to be as close to perfect as possible. And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Could you imagine Michael Jordan not losing sleep over getting bounced in the playoffs? Kobe, maybe? They would be dying inside, and this guy doesn't really care anymore. That's not GOAT-like at all. JJ Redick does exactly the same thing by not taking responsibility and accountability for his decisions as a coach, but blaming all the players on the team for not being in basketball or championship shape. That's why these guys are such great friends. They never take accountability for their mistakes and responsibility for their failures. Now, LeBron James has done this blame game in the past. That was with the Miami Heat. Listen to these few statements from LeBron's ex-teammate, Eddie House, and another analyst. Check it out.
You know, people will say in professional sports, and you've heard this, availability is the greatest ability.
Yep.
Responsibility is much better than availability. Take responsibility, and that's what we saw Jason Tatum do.
Accountability.
Accountability, right. And we don't see that with LeBron oftentimes.
Yeah, well, this is the second time he did that, you know. And the thing is, you can't play both sides. You can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, play both sides of the fence. You can't take credit for being the guy, the main guy, the king, and all that stuff. And then when you lose, say, man, you know, it was other guys out here not handling your business. I mean, it's different when, if you average a triple-double in that series, then you can point your finger and say,
I did my job.
I did everything I could, man, and you know what I mean? I couldn't have been any better. But he could have definitely been better. And it's the 8 other guys that he's talking about. I mean, who are you talking about? Jackson Hayes?
Right.
I mean, Austin Reeves, yeah, he could have been better. He's a youngster, though. You know, who else we've talked about? Gabe Vincent?
Rui Hoochie Mama?
Yeah,
Right.
like, I mean, who you talking about? We needed them to, you need your 2 stars to star out.
Yeah.
That's
and
basically,
this is,
just take, like you say, responsibility, accountability,
and
stop pointing the finger.
As great as
Sometimes point the
LeBron
thumb.
has been and is, this is the one gene he doesn't have in his DNA. And it's when things go south, just own it, man. Like, it doesn't change your legacy. We know how great you are. It would be so refreshing if he said in that, Glob Fest with Steve Nash, man, I got to own that one. I didn't do what I had to do to help us beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, as opposed to blaming 8 other guys, one of which wasn't even drafted.
Hey, by the way, did I show up in the fourth quarter?
Right.
No, I didn't show up in the fourth quarter.
Game 4, 0 points in the fourth
What's
quarter.
even worse about that whole thing is he said, I don't lose sleep over that.
Right, I wish he did.
And you're supposed to be losing sleep over getting pushed out of the playoffs when you had championship aspirations.
Now we know why they lost.
Right.
Austin Reeves, Rui Hoochie guy, your mama.
I don't want to point
Right.
fingers, but it was,
Hayes.
I'll admit it was their fault.
Gabe Vincent.
Let me just say this. I know a lot of people think it's about me and Luka. No, everyone else stunk.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is why LeBron James, has guys like me take shots at him. It's not about his game. Obviously one of the greatest players to ever play the game. It's about crap like that. Because when you make a big shot and you put the crown on, when you show off the tattoo that says chosen, that ain't about the 8 other guys. That's about you. And with LeBron James, when things go well, it's always about him. When things don't go well, it's never his fault. And it's so frustrating hearing him have these conversations when he knows he's lying, he knows what he's putting out there, and for whatever the reason is, he just can't help himself. But when you juxtapose what LeBron said there in that podcast with what Jason Tatum said in a press conference, with the established media in Boston, which is a very tough media, and he goes, yeah, I'm well aware I played like crap. I'm well aware I gotta be better.
Right.
My performance is unacceptable. If I play a little bit better, we're up 2-0 in this series, and I own it. That's refreshing. That's a guy you can root for.
Right.
When you're completely tone deaf to what you say and how people view the things that come out of your mouth, that you can't help a guy like that.
Now that you saw all of the statements I wanted to share with you, let me sum this up. LeBron is not the GOAT. He's not in the GOAT conversation, exactly because of that kind of behavior and lack of care. That's why people don't put him in that conversation, because of stupid BS that he says like this. He doesn't give a crap about winning anymore. This is precisely a lower standard of basketball, represented by the media called face of the league for the last 20 years. and people are surprised the ratings of the NBA are down 48%, give me a break. Let me know what you think about all of this. Consider becoming a member if you watch the channel often, as well as it will greatly help me provide more quality content for you every day. Please share your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you soon in the next video.